Hello everyone and welcome back to another beautiful Wednesday. I hope you all are enjoying your week. I hope you enjoyed the thing we did for scoring for strings. It's possibly one of my more favorite couple videos that I put out so far, and it looks like you guys enjoyed them as well, and I hope you all found something useful in them. Today we're going to be kind of capping off the string series a little bit, as we're going to explore the plucked string instruments that are in an orchestra. Now the reason I didn't include these in the previous videos is because generally when people think scoring for strings, they don't think the plucked strings, they think the bowed strings, which is why we are exploring them separately. There are only really two instruments in this category, that being the harp and the guitar, and our main focus today is going to be the harp, because while the guitar is used a lot in orchestra, and it is actually being used a lot more today, I feel like learning how to use and play a guitar and learning how to write for a guitar is a completely different beast than learning to write for a harp. And while the guitar is an insanely useful tool, I just don't have as much information on hand to properly teach you guys how to write for guitar for orchestra, just because it's not used as often. Nevertheless, the guitar is an insanely popular instrument, and it is getting a lot more popular in today's orchestral writings, so I will do my best to cover that topic in the future. But for today, we are going to be focusing on the harp. So let's get into it. Now, the harp is a lot more common to find in an orchestra than a guitar, so common that it's in almost every symphony orchestra on the planet, and has been around in music culture for literally ages. It is very well known for being gentle, and is very well known for having this nice flowing, angelic sound. And when you think of back to when the harp was first used, you might think ancient Rome, or other such ancient cultures that start to explore music. However, the harp is actually so much older that it is almost as old as music itself. The first references we have in history to the use of a harp is from the years 3000 BC, around ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia. So believe me when I say, when this instrument's old, it's old. But enough about ancient history. Let's go over some of what the harp has to offer to you in modern music. When you first look at the harp, you see it's basically a giant piano, except the strings are exposed, the keys are removed, and they decided to add in a lot of pedals. First thing you want to note is the harp actually covers 6.5 octaves, from here to here on your keyboard. This is an intense amount of range for one instrument. The standard harps these days are actually also double action harps, and this is the part of the video where I get to talk about the very complicated harp pedals. Each string on a harp has a corresponding pedal, and each string is tuned to one of your 7 standard natural notes, from A to G. These pedals are used so that the note outside of the C major scale can be reached, such as sharps and flats. Each pedal also has 3 positions, down, middle, and up. These positions are used to control whether the note and the string linked to that pedal are sharp, natural, or flat, respectively. When the harpist actually plays, they control the E, F, G, and A note pedals with their right foot, and the D, C, and B pedals with their left foot. This is a lot more flexible than a single action harp, as that style of harp can only play natural and sharp notes. And this allows for the musicians themselves to get a lot more creative and play more fluently and flexibly than in the past, as we've innovated on this instrument over time. It's no longer the same instrument we used 5,000 years ago before the birth of Jesus. However, even if we consider this to be extremely flexible, which it is, it does still come with some writing limitations that we need to be aware of, as there are for all of the instruments we will be covering. The first thing you will want to be aware of is that it takes time to actually change those pedals over. Any changing of keys in the music or using notes outside of your general scale do need to be implemented with enough time in between notes for the musician to change their pedals. However, normally a brief rest is more than enough to accommodate this time. And if you are writing using a harp VST and you're writing in a DAW or you're writing on sheet music, another thing you're going to want to keep in mind is you cannot actually write chromatically with the harp. You cannot do continuous semitone up, semitone down style of writing unless the harpist can play it while utilizing the various pedals and notes that they have at their disposal. However, the limit to this is really only 3 chromatic notes in a row in either direction, up or down your keyboard, because at that point they run out of options for sharps and flats with their pedals, and it would be too difficult for the musician themselves to change the pedals and play the notes at that rate. Essentially what I'm saying is that if you're writing for a harp, chromatic runs are basically impossible, and they want to be avoided at all costs, as they aren't played in realistic realistic orchestral music. And while they can be done with a Harp VST, it won't sound as realistic as a harp, and you might actually be able to make it sound better by avoiding those chromatic runs and going with other styles of runs. But that basically does it for limitations for this instrument. It is still extremely flexible, and the sound of a harp is par on none. It is impossible to top. The harp will excel at solo pieces and accompaniment sections, and each of its separate ranges, just like all of the instruments we've covered, exhibit different tonal qualities that you can take advantage of. The lower bass ranges can commonly be described as dark or somber, while its high range are the exact opposite. They are very bright, they are very cheerful, and they are commonly described as childlike. Meanwhile, the middle range is where it is the most gentle. It is both soothing and warm. Keep in mind, the higher the note is on the harp, the less sustained power it has, meaning that the higher the note, the less time it will have to ring out. If you are doing a lot of sustained notes which have a lot of hold on them, it might be better to use the mid to mid-high range instead of that super high range, because you just won't be able to hold the note for as long. Now, every other string library we've explored so far has harmonics, so it's not a surprise that the harp has this option as well. They are typically triggered when the harpist will place their left palm or right knuckle directly in the middle of the string. The tones produced are very ethereal in a sense and almost sound bell-like. While this sound is excruciatingly beautiful in my opinion, it is also very quiet, meaning it works best in light accompaniments or solo pieces. When writing for a harp, you can also use a variety of special effects, as I like to call them, that a lot of composers and musicians like to take advantage of. These can include things such as knocking on the soundboard, plucking the strings with the fingernails instead of the fingertips, using tools to pluck the strings, such as a guitar pick or other sort of metal tool. Glissandos are also extremely popular on the harp. They offer a great rich tone, and they're very useful for flashback sequences or just adding in a sort of ethereal sense. For example, I'm remembering memories of the past. Also commonly noted by a lot of musicians and composers alike that the harp exhibits a much richer tone when the pedals are set to their flat position. So that's something you can take advantage of if you want to add slightly richer tone to some of your notes. Play in a scale that has and takes advantage of flatter notes. Well guys, that's pretty much going to do it for this video. I hope you liked it and found it useful and informative as always. Lots of great information in this one. The harp is a very popular instrument, and while it's very underused, once you start using it, it can add a whole nother level of emotion and texture to your orchestrations. And if you guys want a separate guitar video, let me know and I could start doing some research on guitars and how they're used in orchestra and get that information out to you as soon as I got it. But until then guys, enjoy the rest of your week, have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next Wednesday. Bye-bye.